Listen to me. You got to stop waiting for people to call seeing your dream. You got to stop waiting for somebody to clap for you, to believe in you, to walk with you. Sometimes you got to do it alone. The world ain't going to hand you nothing. You can't keep waiting for a support system. Sometimes the system is you. When I started out, when I was homeless, sleeping in abandoned buildings, listen to me. Nobody was patting me on the back. Nobody was saying, E, you got this. Nah, it was just me, my dream, and my God. You're waiting for your friends, your family, your followers. Stop. You got to walk it out by yourself sometime. You got to put in the work when nobody's looking. You got to grind in the dark before you shine in the light. You want it? You need it? Then go get it. Alone if you have to. Remember, lions don't move in packs when they They move alone. Nobody owes you support. Nobody owes you understanding. Do it alone and then prove to the world you didn't need them to be great. You don't need followers to be a leader. You don't need applause to take the first step. You don't need lights to change your life. Listen to me. You already have what you need inside you. It's time. It's your time. Do it alone. And when you succeed, they'll ask how you did it. And you'll say, I believe when no one else did. So stop waiting, stop begging, stop wishing, stop begging, stop wishing, start moving. Start grinding. Start building alone if you have to, but start. Because the world belongs to those brave enough to walk alone. Let's get it. Listen to me. You gotta stop waiting for permission. You gotta stop waiting for somebody to tell you it's okay to move forward. You gotta stop sitting around like you a little kid in class, raising your hand, waiting for the teacher to call your name. Life ain't no classroom. Life ain't waiting on you to raise your hand. Life is moving without you. And if you don't get up and take your shot, life will pass you by. There are people out here moving, grinding, building empire without anybody's permission. And you still sitting there waiting for somebody to validate your dream. Waiting for your mama to say she's proud of you. Waiting for your friends to say you can do it. Waiting for your boss to recognize your potential. Waiting for your spouse to understand your vision. Listen to me. If they don't see it, that's on them. If they don't believe it, that's not your problem. You don't need them to co-sign what God already signed off on. You keep thinking you need a committee meeting before you can chase your destiny. You think you need a whole crowd clapping before you can start moving. No, the only person who has to believe in your dream is you. You've been given the gift, the vision, the calling. So act on it. Stop hesitating. Stop second guessing. Stop talking yourself out of it because you feel alone. Sometimes you gotta move while you're scared. You gotta move while you're crying. You gotta move while you're confused. You gotta move even when the people closest to you look at you like you're crazy. You want everybody to understand your dream, but it's your dream. It wasn't a conference call, it was a private call between you and your purpose. They weren't there when you stayed up at night crying yourself to sleep. They weren't there when you were writing down goals with a heart full of hope and a head full of fear. They weren't there when you made a promise to yourself that you were gonna break the cycle. So why you need them now to believe before you move? You gotta stop giving people power over your destiny. You're handing them the keys to your future and then getting mad when they don't open the door for you. That's your door to open. That's your dream to build. And the truth is, some people will never give you permission because your success will remind them of everything they gave up on. Your courage shines a light on their cowardice. Your boldness convicts their comfort. Your hunger makes their laziness look even worse. So don't expect everybody to celebrate. Don't expect everybody to see the greatness in you. Most people can't even see you. Most people can't even see the greatness in themselves. You're stronger than you think. You're wiser than you know. But you'll never find out if you keep sitting there waiting for a green light that's never coming. The world is not going to send you an invitation to be great. The world rewards the ones who take it, who snatch it, who say, I'm coming for mine whether you like it or not. You got to walk out there like you belong. Even when you feel like you don't, you got to show up every day with confidence, even if your knees are shaking. You got to work like your future depends on it, because it does. Stop waiting on your friends to join you. Stop waiting on your family to clap for you. Stop waiting on your boss to promote you. Stop waiting on your followers to like you. Move now, build now, create now, Start the business now. Write the book now. Lose the weight now. Speak your dream now. Chase your passion now. Get up and move with what you have, even if it ain't perfect, even if you don't have all the money, even if you don't have all the money, even if you don't have all the support. Because guess what? The movement brings momentum. The first step invites the second. But none of it happens if you keep sitting still. You got a destiny to fulfill. You got a legacy to build. You got lives that are waiting on your story to inspire them. And if you don't move, if you don't act, then not only do you cheat yourself, you cheat everybody connected to your assignment. So today, this moment, right here, right now, hear me, give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to dream big. Give yourself permission to fail and get back up. Give yourself permission to be the first. Give yourself permission to be misunderstood. Give yourself permission to succeed without a committee. You waited long enough. You've doubted long enough. You've been silent long enough. Now it's time to move without permission. You keep waiting on somebody else to believe in you first, but the truth is, it starts with you. Nobody's gonna believe in you until you believe in you. Nobody's gonna see the vision until you see the vision. Nobody's gonna invest in your dream until you invest in it yourself. You waiting for a wave to ride, but you gotta be the wave. You gotta be the energy. You gotta be the fire starter. See, belief isn't something that comes from the outside in. Belief is born from the inside out. It's something you cultivate. It's something you protect. It's something you grow even when nobody else can see it. Because when you believe in yourself, it changes the way you walk. It changes the way you talk. It changes the way you grind. It changes the way you show up every single day. When you believe in yourself, you stop needing validation. You stop needing constant reassurance. You stop looking over your shoulder wondering who's watching. You stop asking for applause after every little step you take. Because now you know you're walking in your purpose. Now you know you're moving towards something bigger. Now you know you're working on something that matters. The problem is too many of you are waiting for everybody else to say it's possible before you believe it's possible. You're waiting for your best friend to say you're good enough. You're waiting for your parents to finally approve. You're waiting for the world to say, yeah, you can do this. And listen to me, sometimes that approval never comes. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones least able to see your greatness. Sometimes they're blinded by your history. They can't see your future because they're still stuck in your past. They still see you as the person you used to be, not the person you're becoming. And that's why it's critical. Listen to me. That's why it's critical you believe in yourself first. That's why you gotta wake up every morning and encourage yourself. That's why you gotta write down your goals and speak them over your life even when nobody else claps for you. That's why you gotta stay committed to the vision even when you're the only one who can see it. You don't get to wait until everybody is comfortable with your dream. You don't get to wait until everybody gives you permission to grow. Growth is uncomfortable. Growth looks crazy to people that stopped growing a long time ago. When you step out on faith, when you start pushing past your limits, when you start breaking the chain, you will make people uncomfortable. And that's okay. You're not living for their comfort. You're living for your calling. There are going to be days when doubt creeps in. There are going to be days when you question if you're doing the right thing. There are going to be days when the vision feels too big, too heavy, too impossible. And on those days, you need your own belief. You need your own fire. You need your own voice inside your head saying, keep going. Because if you don't have it, you'll quit. If you don't have it, you'll settle. If you don't have it, you'll shrink your dream down to fit their expectations instead of growing yourself to match your destiny. Yeah. Believing in yourself is a discipline. It's a muscle you build. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you're building it. Every time you keep going when nobody notices, you're building it. Every time you speak life over your future instead of death, you're building it. And every time you choose courage over fear, faith over doubt, purpose over comfort, you are becoming a person who can carry the weight of your own destiny. Nobody owes you belief. Nobody owes you encouragement. Nobody owes you a pep talk every time you feel weak. That's your job. That's your responsibility. That's your assignment. You gotta feed your own fire. You gotta protect your own dream. You gotta fight for your own future. There's greatness inside you. There's purpose inside you. But none of it matters if you don't believe it. None of it will come to life if you don't take ownership of it. It's not enough to be talented. It's not enough to have potential. You have to believe in the thing that was placed inside you. You have to walk like it's already yours. You have to move like you know success is inevitable. Not because somebody else said so, but because you know so deep in your soul. It starts with you. It starts with the decision to bet on yourself, to back yourself, to believe in yourself, even when the road gets lonely, even when the nights get long, even when the nights get long, even when the voices around you say you're crazy. You have to believe in yourself first, because if you don't, nobody else will. You gotta learn how to grind in silence. You gotta learn how to put your head down and work without announcing every little move you make. Too many of you are wasting time trying to show everybody what you're doing instead of actually doing it. You're so busy trying to prove you're working, you forgot that real work shows itself. Real success doesn't have to be announced. It's revealed when the results show up. You're telling everybody about your plan. You're posting every small step on social media, hoping somebody claps for you, hoping somebody validates you. But listen to me, the applause don't build the dream. The likes don't make the business grow. The followers don't put in the work. You do. So stop chasing attention. Stop trying to make noise. Grind in silence and let your results make the noise. There's a season when you need to be invisible. There's a season when you need to disappear. There's a season when you're supposed to be in the dark building, growing, learning, failing, adjusting, grinding without the world watching. See, when you grind in silence, you give yourself permission to fail quietly. You give yourself space to figure it out without the pressure of everybody's opinions weighing you down. You can move different when you're not worried about how it looks. You can take risks. You can change your mind. You can pivot. You can evolve because you're not performing for anybody but. You're working for your future. The ones who win are the ones who know how to be patient in the dark. They know how to build brick by brick without an audience. They know how to trust the process even when there's no applause, no recognition, no trophies. They understand that greatness is developed in the shadows, not in the spotlight. You out here chasing the spotlight, but the spotlight is supposed to chase you. You don't chase fame. You don't chase clout. You chase mastery. You chase excellence. You chase growth. You chase purpose. And when you do that long enough, hard enough, consistently enough, the spotlight will find you. You can't microwave success. You can't rush the process. You can't shortcut the grind. You got to do the boring stuff. You got to do the hard stuff. You got to do the invisible stuff. You got to fall in love with the process, not just the promise. If you only grind when people are watching, you don't want it bad enough. If you only put in work when you're getting credit, you're not serious. Real hustlers don't need an audience. Real champions train in silence. Real dreamers work in the dark, knowing the light is coming. When you grind in silence, you build a different kind of confidence. You're not relying on external validation. You're not addicted to the noise. You're not up and down based on who's clapping for you. You're steady. You're solid. You're rooted. You know who you are and where you're going, even when nobody else can see it yet. Sometimes you got to be okay with being unseen for a while. Sometimes you got to be okay with being misunderstood. Sometimes you got to be okay with being underestimated. Let them sleep on you. Let them count you out. Let them think you're not a threat. Because while they're talking, while they're laughing, while they're relaxing, you're working. You're stacking, you're preparing, you're sharpening your skills. You're getting ready for the moment when the world finally sees what you've been building in silence. And when that moment comes, when you step into the light, it won't just be noise, it'll be power. It'll be undeniable, it'll be unstoppable. Because it wasn't hype that got you there. It was hustle. It wasn't followers that built your dream. It was faithfulness. It wasn't applause that kept you going. It was purpose. It was grit. It was resilience. So today, make up your mind. You don't owe the world an explanation for your grind. You don't owe them a play-by-play. You don't owe them a press release every time you take a small step forward. You owe yourself the discipline to stay focused. You owe yourself the commitment to keep pushing even when nobody's watching. You owe your dream the respect of doing the work in silence until it's ready to be revealed. Keep your head down. Stay locked in. Stay hungry. Stay faithful. Because sooner or later, the work you did in silence will scream so loud they won't be able to ignore you. Stop using the lack of support as your excuse. Stop telling yourself you can't go all the way because nobody's cheering you on. Stop acting like the people who didn't show up for you have the power to decide your destiny. Their support is nice, but it's not necessary. Their applause is comforting, but it's not required. Their approval might make the journey easier, but listen to me, it's not what's gonna make you win. You gotta make up in your mind that you're gonna be successful whether they clap for you or not, whether they recognize you or not, whether they see you or not, whether they see you or not. You keep waiting for somebody to notice you before you go hard. You keep waiting for somebody to believe in you before you believe in yourself. You keep holding back your full potential because you're frustrated that nobody is supporting you. And I'm telling you right now, you don't have time to wait on nobody. You don't have the luxury to sit around and hope they wake up one day and finally see your worth. You already know your worth. You already know what you're capable of. Act like it. Some of the greatest people who ever lived didn't have a crowd backing them up when they started. They didn't have fans. They didn't have a cheering section. They didn't have a sponsor. They didn't have a hype man. They had a vision. They had a hunger. They had a fire burning so hot inside them that even when the world turned its back, they kept moving forward. Even when nobody called, they kept working. Even when nobody celebrated them, they celebrated themselves. Even when nobody believed, they still believe. That's how you gotta move. You gotta want it bad enough to keep pushing even when it feels like nobody cares. You gotta want it bad enough to show up every day for yourself. You gotta want it bad enough that you become your own motivation, your own support system, your own inspiration. Stop waiting on them to show up. Be your own hero, be your own reason to keep grinding. And let's be real. Some people are supporting you because they don't understand your vision. Some people can't see it because it wasn't given to them. It was given to you. It's not their dream. It's not their assignment. It's yours. So why are you expecting them to feel the urgency you feel? Why are you waiting for them to validate what you already know deep down? They don't have to get it. They don't have to approve. They don't even have to like it. As long as you know you're walking in your purpose, that's all the confirmation you need. The truth is, sometimes the people you thought would be there won't be. Sometimes the people you help the most will be the quietest when it's your turn to win. Sometimes the people you love the hardest will act like they never knew you and it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. It's going to sting. But you can't let that pain turn into an anchor. You can't let that disappointment paralyze you. You got to take that pain and turn it into fuel. You got to take that hurt and use it to push you even harder. Because at the end of the day, this journey is about you versus you. It's about you becoming everything you were created to be. It's about you stepping into your greatness regardless of who's clapping and who's not. It's about you fulfilling your potential no matter who walks with you and who walks away. And let me tell you, when you finally cross that finish line, when you finally reach that goal, when you finally see the dream become a reality, the people who doubted you, the people who ignored you, the people who didn't support you, they're gonna wish they had. They're gonna act like they were there the whole time. They're gonna say, I knew you could do it. But you'll know the truth. You'll know it wasn't their belief that carried you. It was yours. It wasn't their support that fueled you. It was your own fire. It wasn't their validation that gave you wings. It was your own decision to keep going when nobody was watching. So from this day forward, don't you ever use lack of support as an excuse again. Don't you ever tell yourself you can't, because they did. You can. You will. And when you do, it'll be that much sweeter because you'll know you built it, not because of them, but in spite of them. If you want to get to the next level, you're going to have to sacrifice. There's no way around it. There's no shortcut. There's no cheat code. You're going to have to give up something you like, something you love, something you used to, if you want to step into your destiny. Everybody wants success, but not everybody wants to pay the price. Everybody wants the glory, but not everybody wants the grind. I'm telling you right now, if you're serious about winning, you're going to have to let some things go. You can't keep living the same way and expect a different life. You can't keep holding on to comfort and expect to step into greatness. You can't keep spending your time on distraction and expect to build something meaningful. Success is expensive. Dreams are expensive. The future you're praying for requires more than just a wish. It requires work. It requires focus. It requires sacrifice. There are late nights you're going to have to embrace when everybody else is sleeping. There are early mornings you're going to have to face when nobody else is up yet. There are weekends you're going to have to miss out on. Yeah. There are parties, trips, outings you're going to have to turn down. Not because you don't want to have fun, but because you know the fun can wait. You know the life you're building is bigger than the moment you're sacrificing. You understand that temporary discipline leads to permanent success. You're going to lose some friends along the way. Everybody can't come with you. Some people will fall off. Some people will get uncomfortable when you get serious. Some people will try to pull you back into the old life you're trying to leave behind. You're going to have to make peace with that. You're going to have to be willing to be lonely for a season. You're going to have to be willing to outgrow some relationships. You're going to have to prioritize your future over your feelings. Success demands sacrifice. You have to sacrifice your excuses. You have to sacrifice your bad habits. You have to sacrifice your comfort zone. Growth is uncomfortable. Stretching is painful. Evolving is hard, but it's necessary. You can't become who you were created to be by staying who you've always been. Change requires sacrifice. Transformation requires sacrifice. Next level living requires next level discipline. Some of you keep asking for a breakthrough, but you're not willing to break away from the things that are holding you back. You say you want to be successful, but you're still clinging to the very habits, the very people, the very mindsets that are keeping you stuck. You're trying to take old baggage into a new season. You're trying to build a skyscraper on a shaky foundation. Not going to work. Something has to go. Something has to change. Something has to be left behind. You might have to sacrifice sleep for a while. You might have to sacrifice your ego. You might have to sacrifice your pride. You might have to sacrifice your pride. You might have to sacrifice your need for immediate gratification. You might have to sacrifice what's good so you can get to what's great. Stop expecting it to be easy. Stop expecting it to be convenient. Stop expecting success to fit neatly into your schedule. It's going to disrupt your life. It's going to challenge your comfort. It's going to cost you something. But hear me, it's worth it. Every sacrifice you make now is an investment in the life you're building. Every time you say no to something small, you're saying yes to something bigger. Every time you delay pleasure now, you're setting yourself up for greater rewards later. The pain of discipline is far lighter than the pain of regret. You don't want to wake up one day realizing you traded your destiny for a few moments of comfort. You don't want to look back and realize you stayed small because you weren't willing to pay the price for greatness. Success requires sacrifice. Dreams demand discipline. Goals call for focus. You have to decide, is it worth it to you? Are you willing to let go of who you ought to become, who you're meant to be? Are you willing to walk away from average to step into excellence? Are you willing to suffer a little now so you can shine forever later? Nobody's coming to do it for you. Nobody's coming to push you. Nobody's going to make the sacrifice for you. It's on you. It's your dream. It's your dream. It's your life. It's your responsibility. Make the decision today. Pay the price. Embrace the sacrifice and build the life you were born to live. If you're waiting for somebody else to light a fire under you, you're already losing. If you're waiting for someone to call you every morning, tell you how great you are, remind you why you started, you're already behind. You have to learn to motivate yourself. You have to learn to wake up every day and push yourself even when you don't feel like it. Even when nobody's texting you, nobody's encouraging you, nobody's checking up on you, you still got to show up for yourself. Self-motivation is the separator. It's the difference between the people who make it and the people who almost did. It's the difference between those who talk about it and those who are about it. Life isn't going to hand you motivation on a silver platter. Success isn't going to fall into your lap just because you're passionate about it. You have to create your own energy. You have to be your own coach, your own hype man, your own cheerleader. There are going to be mornings when you wake up and you don't feel it. You don't feel the passion. You don't feel the excitement. You don't feel the drive. But you still have to get up and move. You still have to show up and do the work. Motivation isn't a feeling. It's a decision. It's a commitment to the bigger picture, even when the emotions aren't there. It's about setting a standard for yourself so high that you don't need to be constantly reminded of what you said you wanted. Self-motivation means you write your goals down and you chase them without waiting for permission. It means you look yourself in the mirror every morning and say, I got this. Even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. It means you stop giving yourself an option to quit. You stop allowing yourself to make excuses. You stop negotiating with your dream. You stop waiting for the perfect condition and start creating momentum in imperfect one. You can't afford to let outside circumstances dictate your energy. You can't afford to let other people's opinions dictate your hustle. You can't afford to let yesterday's failure drain today's grind. You have to be the kind of person who wakes up hungry every single day, hungry to get better, hungry to grow, hungry to win. You have to remind yourself why you started. You have to keep the vision so clear in your mind that nothing can shake it. No setback, no disappointment, no delay. Self-motivation also means you find a way to stay inspired even when the journey gets boring. Because yes, it's going to get boring sometimes. It's going to feel repetitive. It's going to feel like you're doing the same thing every day and not seeing immediate results. But that's where the magic happens, in the boring, in the mundane, in the disciplined days when you keep showing up even when there's no spotlight, no applause, no reward in sight. You gotta hype yourself up. You gotta speak life over yourself. You gotta encourage yourself when nobody else does. Stop waiting for a text message to tell you you're doing great. Stop waiting for someone to validate you. Stop waiting for someone to tell you to keep going. Be your own motivation. Clap for yourself. Celebrate the small wins. Push yourself through the tough days. Reward yourself for the effort, not just the outcome. Because here's the truth. If you can master self-motivation, there's nothing you can't do. If you can learn to push yourself when it's hard, when it's lonely, when it's frustrating, then you become unstoppable. Life will hit with obstacles. Life will test you with challenges. But if you've trained yourself to keep moving no matter what, you will always find a way to win. To win, it's not about hype. It's not about waiting for the perfect motivational video to come across your screen. It's about building a fire inside you so strong that nothing can put it out. It's about making a choice every single day to honor your commitments, even when the feelings fade. It's about staying locked in on your purpose, staying obsessed with your goals, staying relentless in your pursuit. When nobody's clapping, when nobody's watching, when nobody's believing, you still grind. When the excitement wears off, when the setbacks pile up, when the doubts creep in, you still show up. That's self-motivation. That's the secret. That's the fuel that will carry you to your dreams. Master that and you'll never be stopped again. You give yourself space to figure it out without the pressure of everybody's opinions weighing you down. You can move different when you're not worried about how it looks. You can take risks. You can change your mind. You can pivot. You can evolve because you're not performing for anybody. You're working for your future. The ones who win are the ones who know how to be patient in the dark. They know how to build brick by brick without an audience. They know how to trust the process even when there's no applause, no recognition, no trophies. No trophy. They understand that greatness is developed in the shadows, not in the spotlight. You out here chasing the spotlight, but the spotlight is supposed to chase you. You don't chase fame. You don't chase clout. You chase mastery. You chase excellence. You chase growth. You chase purpose. And when you do that long enough, hard enough, consistently enough, the spotlight will find you. You can't microwave success. You can't rush the process. You can't shortcut the grind. You got to do the boring stuff. You got to do the hard stuff. You got to do the invisible stuff. You got to fall in love with the process, not just the promise. If you only grind when people are watching, you don't want it bad enough. If you only put in work when you're getting credit, you're not serious. Real hustlers don't need an audience. Real champions train in silence. Real dreamers work in the dark, knowing the light is coming. When you grind in silence, you build a different kind of confidence. You're not relying on external validation. You're not addicted to the noise. You're not up and down based on who's clapping for you. You're steady, you're solid, you're rooted, You know who you are and where you're going, even when nobody else can see it yet. Sometimes you gotta be okay with being unseen for a while. Sometimes you gotta be okay with being misunderstood. Sometimes you gotta be okay with being underestimated. Let them sleep on you. Let them count you out. Let them think you're not a threat. Because while they talking, while they laughing, while they relaxing, you're working, you're stacking, you're prepared, you're sharpening your skills. You're getting ready for the moment when the world finally sees what you've been building in silence. And when that moment comes, when you step into the light, it won't just be noise. It will be power. It'll be undeniable. It'll be undeniable. It'll be unstoppable. Because it wasn't hype that got you there. It was hustle. It wasn't followers that built your dream. It was faithfulness. It wasn't applause that kept you going. It was purpose. It was grit. It was resilience. So today, make up your mind. You don't owe the world an explanation for your grind. You don't owe them a play-by-play. You don't owe them a press release every time you take a small step forward. You owe yourself the discipline to stay focused. You owe yourself the commitment to keep pushing even when nobody's watching. You owe your dream the respect of doing the work in silence until it's ready to be revealed. Keep your head down. Stay locked in. Stay hungry. Stay faithful. Because sooner or later, the work you did in silence will scream so loud they won't be able to ignore you. Discipline is the real key. Discipline is your best friend when you're chasing greatness. And it's not your feelings. It's not your emotions. It's not motivation that comes and goes like the weather. It's discipline, that constant force that stays with you, that holds you together when everything else is falling apart. Discipline is what keeps you moving forward when excitement disappears. Discipline is what pushes you to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Anybody can get excited for a day. Anybody can feel hyped after watching a video or reading a quote. But real success comes to those who stay consistent long after the mood has left. Discipline is the difference between I wish and I did. It's the gap between the people who dream about it and the people who wake up every day and make it happen. When you're disciplined, you don't need to wait until you feel good. You don't need someone to remind you why you started. You operate on principle, not emotion. You move on commitment, not convenience. Most people lose because they treat their goals like a hobby. They show up when they feel good. They give effort when it's easy. But champions show up regardless. Champions punch the clock even on the days they'd rather sleep in. Champions put in the work when nobody's cheering. Nobody's clapping. Nobody's watching. Because they understand it's not about how you feel today. It's about what you want forever. Discipline keeps you focused on the bigger picture. Discipline means you do the right thing, even when it's the hard thing. It means you say no to distractions, even when they're tempting. It means you say yes to sacrifices that most people aren't willing to make. Discipline is brutal sometimes. It's lonely sometimes. It's frustrating sometimes. But it's always worth it. Because when discipline becomes your best friend, it shapes you into the kind of person who can handle success, not just chase it. You have to stop negotiating with yourself. You have to stop giving yourself permission to skip the hard work. You have to stop letting your moods and your surroundings dictate your grind. You have to wake up every day with the mindset. I don't care how I feel. I don't care what's going on around me. I'm doing what I said I would do. That's how you win. That's how you win. Hey, it's how you separate yourself from the crowd. Discipline builds habits, and habits build lives. The little things you do every day. Getting up early, working out when you're tired, studying when you're bored, hustling when you're discouraged. They compound over time. They create a momentum that feelings can't match. They create a force that talent alone can't replicate. Because you can be the most talented person in the room. But if you're undisciplined, you'll lose to someone with half your talent but twice your consistency. People will talk about luck. They'll talk about timing. They'll talk about connections. But behind every lucky break is someone who was disciplined long enough to be ready when the opportunity showed up. Behind every success story is a trail of disciplined decisions, the unseen hours, the unnoticed sacrifices, the uncelebrated consistency. Discipline isn't sexy. It's not flashy. It's not flashy. It's not exciting, but it's undefeated. You have to treat discipline like oxygen. something you can't live without. You have to protect it. You have to prioritize it. You have to respect it. Because when you're disciplined, you're not controlled by the ups and downs of life. You move with purpose. You move with power. You move with consistency. You become unstoppable, not because life got easier, but because you got tougher. There are going to be days when everything in you wants to quit. Days when you feel like your effort isn't making a difference. Days when you feel like nobody notices, nobody cares, nobody's watching. But discipline doesn't need an audience. Discipline doesn't need immediate results. Discipline doesn't need external validation. It just needs your commitment, your loyalty to the grind, your refusal to break under pressure. Discipline is freedom. Freedom from regret. Freedom from excuses. Freedom from the life you don't want. Discipline demands everything, but it gives back more than you can imagine. Gives you a life you can be proud of. A life where you know without a doubt that you gave it your all, that you didn't fold, that you didn't back down, that you kept pushing, kept grinding, kept believing long after everyone else gave up. Make discipline your best friend. Walk with it every day. Listen to it when your mind tries to wander. Trust it when your emotions try to lead you astray. Build your life on it, because if you do, there's no dream too big, no goal too high, no obstacle too tough. Discipline will carry you to places motivation could never reach.